This is Clifton Nicholas for CUTV News. On Monday, November 27th, a press conference was held in Kanehsatake with representatives from the Mohawk Council of Kanehsatake as well as agricultural producers and officials from both the Parti Québécois and the Liberal government. This press conference was held in response to Nyocan's plans for the construction and the operation of a mine within the territory of Kanehsatake.
Je laisse la parole au grand chef de Kanehsatake, Paul Nicholas.
Segu Sawaguegu, welcome, bienvenue. The Mohawk Council of Kanehsatake and the people of Kanehsatake reject the project of the company Nyocan, which plans to exploit a resource of niobium on land forming part of the scenery of Lake of Two Mountains, on which we have title as well as Aboriginal and treaty rights. Our position is clear. We will never allow our land to be used without our consent and in a way that is so harmful to the environment. The opposition of the Mohawk Council has been formally forwarded to the Quebec government, who is expected shortly to rule on a request for a certificate of authorization made by Nyocan. The Mohawk Council of Kanehsatake recalls that the whole scenery of Lake of Two Mountains, including the area chosen for the mining project, is in territorial negotiations with the federal government. Until an agreement has been reached, governments should therefore impose a moratorium on any project development which could have a negative impact on the rights of the Mohawks. We wish to stress that serious concerns have been raised by several experts regarding the long-term health and environmental hazards which the proposed mine will create. Many pollutants, radiations, gas, noise, dust, and the possibility of significant impacts on the natural hydrographic network could have disastrous consequences for the environment and the health of families living in the area. We share those concerns with the UPA, the different citizens' committees, the member of the National Assembly, Madame Baudouin, and many others. That is why we are happy to join in this coalition, put our differences aside, and work together for future generations. Finally, I receive with real enthusiasm the idea of a sustainable project on the site, a project that could bring together Quebecois and Mohawks in the spirit of friendship and harmony. Nyama.
My name is Kanehsatake and I'm Turtle Clan from this community in Kanehsatake. C'est un grand plaisir d'accueillir Madame Baudouin. Merci pour votre appui pour la coalition contre la mine de Nyocan. Et pour les membres des fermiers, les unions agricoles de montagne, c'est un grand plaisir de travailler avec vous contre cette mine. Ça affecte notre santé et bien-être essentiel. Mais je vais lire une petite phrase que la position de les peuples Longhouse en anglais. Since its endorsement of the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples on November 12th, recently in 2010, it is in Canada's best interest to begin the process of implementation of the Declaration by working in collaboration with Aboriginal peoples, and in particular, the Mohawks of Kanehsatake. This important international human rights instrument is key to the reconciliation process and prevents proponents, like Nyocan, from violating the constitutionally protected inherent rights of Indigenous peoples. Canada is legally obliged to uphold the honor of the Crown and the rule of law. As in recent Supreme Court's decisions of Canada, they have a duty to consult and accommodate Aboriginal peoples in serious matters affecting their rights. The proposed Nyocan project is a serious violation of the collective rights of the Mohawk peoples of Kanehsatake, whose self-determining right is protected under the Constitution Act of 1982. The Nyocan project threatens biodiversity. And throughout the world, internationally, efforts are being made to protect biodiversity. Biodiversity assures sustainable economic development. It protects the health and well-being of all peoples. It protects ecosystems, ecosystems which help reduce poverty and improve the livelihoods, societies, and economies. This has become increasingly clear, and as we can see from the beautiful products that we have in front of us, this is what's being threatened by the NeoCan project. In the World Summit of 1996, they defined food security as existing when all people at all times have access to sufficient, safe, nutritious food to maintain a healthy and active life. And that is why we are so pleased and happy and honored that we are working together with the Quebecois who live in this region, who we have lived side by side for centuries, to try and live in peace, to work together against this project that affects all our lives and health and well-being. The original mine should never have occurred. It contradicts our inherent rights, it contradicts our treaty rights, and the government of Canada needs to have the free, prior, and informed consent of Indigenous peoples, in particular for this case, the Mohawks of Kanehsatake, on any kind of development that takes place on our territory. Kanehsatake is an ancient community. It existed long before Europeans arrived here. And for that, we have every right to say no to this development, that we have a right to stop this development. And if Canada and the government of Quebec continue to insist that they will allow this project to continue, we will have to launch complaints to the international community to say that Canada is violating the rule of law, because even under its own laws, it must protect and uphold the rule of law and protect and uphold the human rights and collective rights of the peoples here in Kanehsatake. It is important that we all understand that this kind of project will just give money, more money, to those who are already rich. They are trying to take away the economic development of the people that live in this region. We all need to say no to this kind of development. This kind of development is not necessary for the survival of this world. These are the things that are necessary. These vegetables, the fruits that are grown in this area. We can have sustainable economic development. Otherwise, we are not leaving anything for future generations. We have to protect and preserve this environment for present and future generations. Yakoa, thank you.
Bonjour à tous. Alors, Nicolas Villeneuve, président du syndicat de l'UPA des Deux-Montagnes, un regroupement qui comporte 384 membres actifs. Nous sommes réunis aujourd'hui pour vous dire encore que nous ne voulons pas de mine de niobium à Oka. Vous dire également que ce que nous voulons, c'est de voir naître des projets qui respectent les priorités de développement sur lesquelles nous avons construit notre image, notre réputation et notre crédibilité. Vous savez, notre MRC est d'abord et avant tout une région agricole des plus dynamiques. Elle est également une destination agro-touristique très fréquentée et privilégiée. Nous y avons développé des créneaux d'activité économique fort enviables, basés entre autres sur l'agriculture, sur l'agro-tourisme et le récréo-tourisme.
The unification of Kanehsatake and Band Council and UPA, it's by the vision that we have for the use and the protection of those land. We have them right now as a farming land, and we want them to stay as it is. We know what we are going to do. With the coalition, like we said, we want to take over, to bring a project that will dynamize the region with the old site of St. Lawrence, Columbia, for the decontamination of that site and restore it and give it back to the public.
I think it's really important in the work that Indigenous people do to have coalitions with non-natives. And I think this particular coalition, we have the same concern, which is for the environment. And I think when you have something that affects you as a human being and affects your livelihood as well, and the quality of your life, that people are just really open and willing to become part of that struggle. So it's really refreshing, it's inspiring, and it brings us hope for a good future.
Well, we think that it's important that everybody knows what is happening. That's why there are audiences like this, and we think that it's important to sensibilize the population that everybody needs to know what is happening. It is something very important that may have large impacts on the environment and on the economical resources too. But we need to take care of of the environment we have here at Oka and to.
OK. Mais personnellement, on s'implique pas nécessairement pour nous, parce qu'on est quand même en secondaire 5. On s'implique pour les futurs, secondaire 1. Nous autres, on est complètement à côté de la mine. Donc, ça a une grosse répercussion directe sur notre école. Le bruit, le dynamitage, les tremblements, tout ça, et la radioactivité. Donc, c'est direct sur nos élèves. C'est sûr que je crois que les secondaires 1, en ce moment, ça leur tente de finir le secondaire 5. Mes enfants, je pense que ça leur... J'ai goût que mes enfants à la même école que moi, j'ai été parce que c'est une bonne école, c'est un beau territoire, donc je m'implique parce que j'ai mon futur, puis mon futur, puis le futur de mes enfants à...
C'est ça. Puis je pense qu'en même temps, c'est pas seulement pour l'école, c'est aussi pour la ville, pour les environs, parce que c'est nous, la prochaine génération, qui va avoir à prendre en charge les problèmes qu'on va faire en ce moment en créant une mine ici. Les radiations, comme tu disais, la pollution, les problèmes environnementaux, c'est notre génération qui va subir ça. Les agriculteurs qui sont à l'école en ce moment, qui vont travailler plus tard, c'est eux qui vont avoir des terrains qui vont être souillés, c'est eux qui vont avoir des terrains qui seront plus praticables. Donc je pense que c'est pour ça que c'est important d'aller de l'avant aujourd'hui avec nos ressources.
Well, I think it's evidence that the people are really concerned about this project, and there's a lot of interest being generated now as we make it more public what's actually going on, and that this is just the beginning of us motivating more people to fight against projects like the Neocam.
COTV News will be following developments as they occur. Thank you for watching. This is Clifton Nicholas for COTV News.